The way we use our cities is at the heart of so much that matters: economy, climate change, health, and community. Well-designed, well-connected cities tend to thrive, while car-first cities struggle to manufacture the same experience. That realization might explain the growing popularity of rentable scooters and bike services.
My name is Constantin. I am the founder and CEO of Smooth City. So we give the control back to the city. In terms of mobility, they really have an overview of everything.
Using the power of data, Constantin is carving a path forward for cities around the world to bring better transportation and a stronger community to their streets. What is Smooth City?
So Smooth City really provides a mobility data platform to governments and cities in Europe. So besides them having their own bike share solution, they also have a platform that provides all the data where they can see where the bikes are used, how often the bikes are used. They get data from Waze, from Google Maps, so they can really compare to other mobility options. We get data from Vodafone, so they can see like the density in certain streets, which is good for contract tracing and stuff like that. Pandemics might be relevant.
What was the reason behind creating Smooth City?
After working at Uber Eats for over a year, that's when I realized that Uber Eats is really all about data. So it's more like a logistic company, but also like a data company, because they had so much data and they understood their users. And that's where I saw that there might be a potential for that in other areas of mobility as well. So I realized that to really have a big impact on the mobility, we had to give the control to the cities. So Smooth City started with the idea of, okay, the city should be in control of all the data. The city needs to regulate everything. And to be able to regulate everything, you need to have access to all the data. Because at this point, the operators only give the data that they want, and they don't want to give too much data because they are afraid their competitors will use that data as well. So it's made by the city officials who use it for the city officials who use it.
Data has become somewhat of a cartoon villain, especially in the world of startups. Like Constantin says, companies end up seeing this valuable information as a gateway to making money, at the expense of their users. But by enabling cities themselves to monitor how their services are used, efforts can be focused on the services that really matter. With that in mind, how are you hoping to change the mobility industry with Smooth City?
So we work together with the local economy. We want to make Smooth City part of the whole community, of the whole city. So we stimulate the economy. We work together with local economy, and by doing campaigns and whatever promotional stuff, we put money back into the economy, and also by employing people. And in that way, we have a bigger impact, although it might be on a smaller scale, but we have a bigger impact in a specific city than other companies have in general. So Smooth City has an advantage over others because the people in the community have a vested interest with us because they make money with us as well. We are really part of them. And that is really the whole DNA of Smooth City.
Smooth City illustrates that the way we shape our cities shapes our well-being. A 4-mile trip on an e-bike keeps up to 15 pounds of pollutants from entering the air. And supporting e-bikes could save American consumers over $1.7 trillion in total fuel costs by 2025. Smooth City is making this transition as easy as possible for cities in Europe and, hopefully, everywhere else too. So what does good leadership look like to you and your team?
Good leadership is someone who involves everyone. A good leader looks at the person, who the person is, and what the person could be. And then a good leader tries to help that person become what it could be by either, advising things or giving tasks that could help that person reach that experience of what they could be. And I think that is really quite important. It's all about development because life is a constant development. It doesn't stand still. It's better if they can really be part of the company, if they really believe in the company. And it always feels good if at the end of the internship or job, you really see that they grew and most likely you also grew because you get feedback from them and you learn from them as well. So it's a win-win.
What advice would you give your younger self or other entrepreneurs?
Just do it. If it's something that you really love, because life is short, at the end of the day, even if it fails, trust me, you will learn a lot. So it's not a wasted time. You will have a better view of what you really want and what you can improve and how you can reach your end goal. But if you don't do it, you will never know.